read the full statement of Mick Gordon on Doom Eternal. You might remember there was a little bit of a fight going on, pretty nasty one, between ID Software and Mick Gordon, who made the music for Doom and Doom Eternal, of course, which is fantastic. And he basically got blamed for a lot of issues. That he was basically a lazy composer who didn't send in his stuff at time, and the quality wasn't there, yada yada yada. Again, he got shit on for Doom Eternal. Now, this has been, oh gosh, nearly 3 years ago. It has been a while, huh? But he is now having a full statement on this. So let's read this, shall we? This statement is issued in response to ID Software Studio Director Marty Stratton's Doom Eternal OST open letter published on Reddit on May 5th, 2020. Marty lied about the circumstances surrounding the Doom Eternal soundtrack and used disinformation and innuendo to blame me entirely for its failure. Afterwards, he offered me a 6-figure settlement to never speak about it. As far as I'm concerned, the truth is more important. Marty's Reddit post severely impacted both my professional and personal reputation. In releasing this statement, I'm exercising my right to defend myself. It is a defense, not an unprovoked attack, issued with extreme reluctance, only after all other attempts to resolve the matter have failed. The statement is not an excuse for a hate campaign. Acts of hate dished out online won't result in any positive change. In fact, it makes only things worse. Points of note. My response is lengthy and detailed to prevent vague statement from turning into rumors and speculation. I assume that, so we will not read all of this because I'm just realizing, holy shit, how long this is. Damn, he is throwing a lot of evidence at him, huh? I assume it's crazy. My assumption here is that this was also going through a lawyer, and they were talking through their lawyers probably quite a bit. But wow, that is crazy. Yeah. That is kind of crazy. That is a lot. But here's the thing, he got damaged quite hard. When this whole thing happened with Doom Eternal, I can only assume that a lot of the things, a lot of his gigs he basically had, did fall apart. This statement is a direct response of Marty's false accusation, and I will not name anyone outside those mentioned in his open letter. Privacy. To maintain the anonymity of others, I have used collective nuance such as management, ID Software and Bethesda to distinguish conversations between different teams. However, collective nuance should not be interpreted as a general attack on any group as a whole. This statement does not reflect the overwhelmingly positive, successful relationship I have had with many people and studios under the ZeniMax umbrella. The game I worked on and the people behind them remain dear to my heart. I worked as a contractor. I'm not a staff employee and I don't work from any client's office. I'm isolated from the development team, living and working in a country on the other side of the planet. I rarely visit studios in person, and communication is maintained through emails and calls. Duh. Contracts are integral. Nothing happens without a signed agreement. In-game score. A game score is written specifically for an interactive music system and consists of hundreds, sometimes thousands of short audio files. The game's audio system plays the files in sequence determined by the player's action. Okay, this is how it basically works, yada yada yada. let's read the Doom Eternal was a difficult project. I would definitely put the rest of this, if you want to read it yourself, in the video. And in the chat, but Doom Eternal was a difficult project. When I signed on, ID Software handed me a music schedule that required 2 levels scored per month, tight, although not impossible. But whoever dreamt up that plan did so in isolation, because it quickly became apparent how disconnected it was from the game's actual development. Release was still 2 years away. The schedule, however, demanded I deliver a steady stream of final music immediately. One of the game's key features was music that closely matched gameplay, so aiming to produce finished music for levels still months away didn't make sense. Yeah, that's weird. Make us music for something which doesn't exist yet. Huh. To have any hope of accomplishing that, I needed to rely on ID Software to provide me with materials illustrating the music's intended purpose. Difficulties emerged early on when they couldn't provide those materials in a timely manner. Most levels were still getting blocked out or didn't exist, and the fantasy combat puzzle design philosophy wasn't yet clear. People responsible for capturing gameplay footage were only sometimes available, and unstable builds often made recording video hopeless. Details on boss encounters, cutscenes, main menu design, game flow, story, lore, and characters arcs were still a year away. Wow. That's kind of... That's kind of rough. Let me see. Does he have... I haven't been paid for over half of Doom Eternal's score. That's rough. Yeah. Do we have like a summary? Let's see. Oh yeah. I haven't been paid for over half of Doom Eternal's music. The game includes more than double the music I was contracted to produce. Rejects, mock-ups, demos, many of which were never meant for public release. I created this music as part of the development process and shared it with ID Software in good faith, but ID Software used the music in the game, marketing and soundtrack, and I still refused to pay me for it. Wow. It was announced with my name attached and made available for pre-order before I was contracted to produce it. Wait, what? That's crazy. Despite my alarm and constant appeals, Marty refused to do anything about the situation, leading to a 9-month delay before I could start work. After 7 months of inaction, I reported my concerns to Bethesda. Bethesda and I negotiated to do Eternal OST directly without Marty's involvement. I received the contract on March 18, 2020, just 48 hours before Doom Eternal was released. The delay was announced a week earlier before I was under contract. The deadline was April 16th, and the contract stipulated ID Software had complete creative control and would acquire access to all of my source material. Marty withheld crucial details from me until 13 days before my deadline, such as potential legal trouble they faced for taking pre-orders before it was under contract. Under contract, details about the internally produced OST, an alternative edited from my in-game score, which they worked on for at least 6 months without my knowledge or involvement. Wow. I didn't approve the release. In the days leading up to April 16, Marty cut me out of the process and decided to release the alternative version instead, reducing my direct contributions to filler. Both he and ID Software's lead audio designer, Chad Moseholder, didn't allow me to hear the final album and didn't seek my approval. They weren't contractually required to do so. Yeah, but even that is pretty shitty and pretty questionable at best. So, yikes. The poor quality release immediately drew criticism, and the worried Marty personally asked me for assistance in addressing the situation. Oh, good. Now shit hits the fan, they're coming to him. Great. I made myself entirely available to Marty and committed to satisfying disappointed customers with a better OST. Marty made it clear he wanted me involved, saying he wanted a positive outcome and had no ill intentions and wanted to resolve the issue professionally. He offered to draft a joint statement addressing the situation and announcing plans to move forward. He requested a hold off on making further public comments until we could address the public together. Marty told me to expect a draft within hours, but it never arrived. Wow. Instead, days later, he published the open letter on a fan-run Reddit page that singled me out as the sole cause behind the botched OST. The post attracted thousands of comments, news articles, and severely damaged my personal and professional reputation. Worst of all, he did it behind my back, while still leading me on with a bullshit story about working together on a professional solution to the problem. His statement was full of lies, disinformation, and innuendo, and when challenged, his company offered me a six-figure sum to shut up about it. When I tried time and time again, amid a torrent of abuse, harassment, and threats to resolve the matter more amicably, he constantly refused, worried how addressing the Reddit post would damage his own reputation instead. Of course. But as far as I'm concerned, truth and honesty are more important. Marty's words damaged my character and attacked my reputation. I have afforded him ample opportunity to address this issue, but his refusal to do so has left me with no option other than to issue this statement. Yeah. So, again, if you want to go through all the facts, I would definitely do so. But this is quite expensive, to say the least. And like when this happened nearly 3 years ago, Mick Gordon was very much seen as the boo man. Like a lot of people were basically punishing him. Like, I don't want to know how many contracts he lost because of this. Because a lot of people started to believe that, well, shit, it's Mick Gordon who basically did this. And he is not to be trusted, and he is not a reliable source to work together with. Like, don't get me wrong, I know that working with external contractors, things can become problematic. I mean, I have been an external contractor for some gaming projects in the past, and I can't really say I didn't have problems. It's like the more you're basically disconnected from the company you're working for, the more problematic it becomes, right? So I can understand that there are issues and they can happen. But what they have done to Mick Gordon by basically dragging him through the mud, pointing with the finger at him and be like, him, he is the sole reason for this basically that goes sideways. Like, yeah. I can truly see how that damaged him. So, again, I will put this into the comments and all that if you want to check it out yourself. I would definitely do so. Again, I will not take any sides here yet in the video because I haven't read all the things he's putting out there. But it's a lot. So, and this is basically hot off the press. It's quite detailed. So, but this is definitely not a good look for ID Software. And I hope that if this is all true, that Mr. Gordon can find some more work and that this can be put behind them at some point. Yep. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and my commentary, I would appreciate if you leave a like. If you're new to the channel, you want to see more reaction videos, thoughts on the gaming industry, guides for new games coming out, new games coming out, like Warhammer 40k Dark Tide starting next week, Frozen Flame, I would appreciate if you might consider to subscribe to the channel. Again, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe. Till then.